From breaking the all-time scoring record to scoring at a higher rate than any other player aged 38, LeBron James has officially become the greatest scorer of all time after passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. You can't argue with the facts in this case. No other player in the history of the game has scored more points than LeBron James. Whenever anyone says that some other player is actually a better scorer than the king, just ask them who has scored more points, and that'll be that.
Won't run back, won't pass, gives no effort in practice. You can't say that.
No, of course not. Okay.
I genuinely believe that the world doesn't realize how big an achievement it was, becoming the all-time scorer champion in NBA history. Up until the Lakers' latest game against Oklahoma City Thunder, when LeBron broke the record, there was always at least Kareem who was ahead of him. Before that, there were others like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and even Karl Malone. LeBron's longevity had already allowed him to make a case for it.
Around Wagner easily.
It's the Access Sportsnet studio, and it is.
But now that it's official, it feels so absurd. I can't bring myself to believe that it's LeBron, and that's that. Insane. But back to the topic, it's so crucial in any argument about scoring to see where a player ranks. And there really can't be a place better than number one, can there? Amidst all the madness, LeBron has the audacity to say that he's a pass-first guy. And you know what? If Magic Johnson says that he believes LeBron, then that's good enough for me. Sorry, KD. But even more than that,
That shouldn't diminish, like, how you view a guy who's so accomplished.
No, that's not what we were looking for.
it's so absurd when LeBron actually points to the fact that he didn't even try to break the record. It's just a byproduct of his greatness. Still though, if you aren't convinced, I've got plenty of other reasons to convince you. For instance, how can you possibly argue against his consistency? Over the course of his entire career, LeBron James in his rookie year, a kid who arrived from Akron, up until this day, when he's broken Kareem's all-time scoring record.
Make the winners think that, oh, this game is over.
And again, don't revert back to old form in the third quarter.
LeBron's scoring form and consistency hasn't dipped. He was averaging almost 21 points per game in his rookie season. He's averaging almost 31 points since turning 38. So basically nothing has changed. He's only gotten better.
Comes out the other, right to the hands of LeBron. Here comes LeBron, coast to coast all the way.
And the difference between those two instances is just the 20 seasons. So yeah, I refuse to believe that anyone can be better than LeBron as a player, but even more as a scorer.
LeBron James drives again, gets inside, layup is good.
Yes, there have been many players who enjoyed higher scoring peaks than LeBron, but what would you rather have? Someone who scores marginally less over the course of his much longer career and contributes significantly to every other aspect of the game? Or someone who exploded for a few seasons and then ended his career with extremely poor averages?
Yes, he did. LeBron will try a three. Yes, sir! LeBron James. It nearly went in.
I know who I'm taking, by the way, and perhaps the one thing that still everyone tends to overlook is the fact that LeBron has actually only improved as a scorer as the years have gone by. Yeah, it's a fact.
So Augustine got it back. James down low, head fake, bang shot! 51 points for LeBron.
Just take a look at LeBron's average over the last 2 seasons. How do you possibly explain this, given the physical demands of a game like basketball? And of course, amp it up given we're talking about the NBA.
Comes Reeves with LeBron. LeBron! They do it again! The chemistry of those two!
It's unthinkable that a player would be scoring at such a high rate in his late 30s. I mean, I heard about players peaking in their late 20s. There are countless examples of that. And LeBron did experience his peak in his late 20s.
Scored! Count it! Season high first half points with 73. And LeBron.
As that was roughly the time when he was going back-to-back with the Heat and averaging almost 27 points per game. So, how can you even begin to explain the fact that LeBron James in his 19th and 20th season in the NBA has crossed the 30-point barrier for the first time in his career? And if I'm being brutally honest, even that isn't a fair reflection of his scoring prowess at this age with the Lakers. Don't believe me? Allow me to explain. LeBron's career shooting percentage from the range hovers around the 34% mark.
James looking, puts up a three, puts it in.
And the only area where you can possibly see some signs of age in LeBron's play is his three-point shooting, which this season has been a joint career low at 31.5%. But the volume of shots hasn't dropped.
James in rhythm. Yes, sir! What a...
And I'm willing to argue that if LeBron had a better supporting cast around him, I mean the Lakers are, after all, the worst three-point shooting team in the league, LeBron would have been averaging even higher. And his case only gets stronger when you consider his longevity. No debate here, right?
LeBron, that's a set shot from three.
Oh, he's going to let him play it out.
LeBron's longevity is the biggest weapon in the GOAT debate. Unsurprisingly, it applies to LeBron's scoring too. I've already discussed how LeBron's improved as a scorer with age. But did you know that the King has also adapted well to his age? If you're a stat nerd, you probably wouldn't feel any difference in LeBron's extraordinary scoring rate over the last 20 seasons. The field goal percentage hovering around 50%, along with a scoring range above 27 points per game. What's changed? Well, this is something that you only pick on from the game.
Beverly to Brown, inside to James. And James now at 23.
LeBron's scoring style has changed dramatically. Age catches up with everyone, and unfortunately, the King isn't an exception to that rule either. The only difference is he's taking care of his body. The man spends millions on his body every year. Duh. And he's adapted well to the challenge. LeBron's biggest critic remains himself. He realized after amassing so much experience that he needs to tweak his game if he wants to stay effective, which probably is the only reason we don't see LeBron dismantling defenders on the way to the bucket. Instead, he's like a lion stalking his prey, waiting for his chance.
Nice ball fake, kicks it back out, wide open. Monk shot misses. James the rebound. The starting center.
And along with that, adding a step-back jump shot, which has improved so much from the first time we saw from James. All in all, his adaptability along with experience, that is the reason why LeBron's the GOAT scorer for me. But that's not all. If we are to discuss LeBron's scoring, it's time to debunk a myth too. Many people seem to think that any decent scorer who plays 20 seasons would eventually get close to the scoring record. But no, that's definitely not true. And it's only shade that haters tend to throw on LeBron, but I won't have any of it today. The greatest scorer in terms of points before LeBron was Kareem, right? He got to 38,387 points. But how many games did he play to get to that figure? 1,560. Impressive, right? Yet LeBron's gone past him, playing 150 games less. This means that if LeBron continues his scoring as per his career average, he'll have more than 42,000 points by the time he plays another 150 games. So please, don't pay any heed to these useless arguments. But there is still one last thing to address in the GOAT scoring debate. Yup, the scoring rate per game. This is another blowout, if I'm being honest. LeBron may only be 5th in the scoring per game in NBA history, only, hilarious. But ahead of him are 4 players only. Kevin Durant by 0.1, and no shade on KD. But if he's maintaining that average by the time he's played 1,400 games, come talk to me. As for the number 3 player, Elgin Baylor only played 846 games and has only 0.2 to show for it. I don't count him either. So the 2 players who actually have a shot at this argument are Wilt Chamberlain and MJ. Both scored at 30.1 and played over 1,045 games. Extremely impressive, except for the fact that LeBron has 400 games more than each of them, and their averages were bound to drop given how poor they were in the latter part of their career. So the difference here is negligible at best. LeBron's the GOAT scorer, and he'll probably be 4th or potentially even 3rd on this list by the time he retires. That's all from me though. We'll see you next time.